Hi, I'm Carolyn Wainscott, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create my versions of Overall Sam and Sunbonnet Sue. I love the traditional quilt patterns. I just don't have the patience to create multiples of smaller blocks and putting them all together. So these are some of my what I call short attention span quilts. I drew up my own Sunbonnet Sue and then enlarged her, and also the Overall Sam. And I actually got these two quilt tops done in a good afternoon, about 95% done, except for finessing up around them. And this is my speed. These full-size patterns are available in my pattern store, and that pattern also includes a traditional 14-inch block, so that if you would want to make the smaller blocks and enlarge the quilt by putting the traditional blocks around, then you have that option also. So let's get started by getting these appliques ready and get these done. Instead of cutting the pattern all apart of the small pieces, I'm drawing them onto this lightweight fusible interfacing. This is the smooth side. That's the side without the fusee on it. The other side's a little rougher, and that has the fusible on it. So I'm drawing the cutting line just to give myself a cutting line, and then I'm going to throw in the seam line, sew by number, and it'll make it a whole lot easier and a whole lot quicker, and I'll show you as I'm sewing why we're doing this. All the pieces have been cut out for Sunbonnet Sue and Overall Sam, and we'll use the same method for both. The fusible interfacing was cut at the same time. Here's her hand, here's her arm. The hand will be sewn to the arm before I sew the fusible on each piece. Her shoes, the same. And then this is the hat band, and I'll trim it out tighter when I get it sewn. Here's her bonnet. And then the fusible. It was cut out at the same time. Fusible's down again. This is the right hand side of the bonnet. Here's her apron. It's going to match the bonnet. The hat band matches the dress. She has to match everything. And then the dress is all cut out. And again, the fusible fusee is down to the right hand side of the dress. And Overall Sam, same thing. Here is his sun hat, fusible with the fusible down to the right. I had this fabric that kind of looks like straw, so he's going straw hat. His shoes, I've already sewn one because I wanted to see how cute it was going to be. The red fabric will be his the hat band, his shirt, and the sleeve of his shirt, and then here's the pink for his hand. It's not going to take long at all to get all these sewn. And then here is the wagon wheels. I mean, how much better can you get to sew a perfect circle than have it already drawn out for you? We'll sew it and then cut. And then here is the wagon. And that's just going to be straight sewing, and then put the wagon together. And Overall Sam's overalls. fusible, the overalls, which was actually a jumper that, you know, that thing shrunk in the wash. So it got into the recycling bin, and here it is. Overall Sam's going to be wearing it. That'll teach something to shrink on me. So I'm going to sew all these together and then we'll start assembling. And here are Overall Sam's 2 little shirt inserts that go on his overalls. And this method of drawing the pattern onto the fusible and sewing them all in one piece and then trimming, it just seems as though it makes it so much easier. Each of the pieces for Sunbonnet Sue have been sewn, and this one has been turned with the right side out. Here's the fusible on the back, and this is the fusy side down. This is the reason it was placed to the right side of the fabric. And you see that it turns your edges quite nicely. Here is the apron, and I'm going to start trimming this out. On the edges, here is a corner, so I'm going to clip to the seam, clip the corners so they will lay a little more nicely. Here again, you're going to do the same thing for the Sunbonnet Sue, all the pieces, and the Overall Sam. Now this is going to get turned. I have a slit in the back, and this is the shoulder. This did not get sewn because this piece goes underneath the bonnet. You will notice on the pattern that each piece that goes underneath another piece next to it, this does not get sewn closed. It doesn't have to. It's going to be sealed with the seam that's going to go on top. And ever since I first saw Eleanor Burns use this method in applique, I have used this method. I love it. Even on these larger pieces where I wouldn't have to use it. I don't have any patience with turning under all those seams, and this does it for me. This is the hat band for Sunbonnet Sue's bonnet, and in each curve I will clip to the seam line so it will lay more nicely. Don't clip into the seam. With all the seams trimmed out and clipped into, I'm going to separate the fusible web from the fabric. And make a slit in the fusible web. Turn the hat band. On the pattern there is a waistband and tie for the apron, but I'm going to bypass that and use lace on this one because I have the lace and because I like the look. Sunbonnet Sue's background has been sewn together except to put a border around, and I'm just going to lightly press her down so that I can use the blanket stitch around. And here again, I don't have to pin. This will hold it long enough. The shoes did not have to be finished at the top. Any of these pieces that go underneath another piece, also the little apron and dress. 2 balloons went behind the front balloon, so These seams were not closed either, but they're placed behind. And all around the outline I'm going to use the black blanket stitch because I have a quilt that my grandmother made and it's all hand stitched, and she put all blanket stitch around. So I'm sticking with that tradition. For the balloon strings, I'm going to couch down black yarn. So I'm going just to take a regular pencil and my ruler and draw that line down through there, and the pencil line will be covered with the black yarn. I'm just going to zigzag over it, and that's called couching. And you could also use a satin stitch on your machine and embroider it, any way you go about it, but this is a quick, easy way to create the balloon strings. Sam's wagon is also ready to be fused together. Here are his very crooked wheels. This is the body of the wagon. A tube of sorts. Neither end of this tube has been sewn together because they will be going under some uprights. And this is another tube. This is for the one of the top pieces of the body of the wagon. Found these big straws in one of the dollar stores or something. They're called milkshake straws. They come in handy for some of these bigger tubes or smaller tubes. So that's be the bed of the wagon. One of the rails, another rail, evenly spaced, and then one of these uprights. This again has that fusible on it. I'm going to space these out, press these down, and the wagon, the body of the wagon, will be ready to stitch together. Sam's wagon is pressed together enough and held by the lightweight fusible enough to sew all around it. It's not going to fall apart. And here's the handle. It won't be attached until it makes it to the background, and neither will the wheels. But kind of a cute little farm wagon. I don't know where Sam's going, but he can hold a lot of stuff in his wagon.